Gentlemen, today's topic is on the male mental health fix and how it isn't about feeling more feelings, but actually about having more agency. I'm going to say something that might hit a nerve with some people, but I believe that it's worth saying clearly. A lot of modern mental health and healing modalities are a world that's built around tools that don't always fit how most masculine men are wired. And when you give the man the wrong tools, you are not only slowing down his progress, but sometimes you're training him into a deeper loop of confusion and suffering. This video will be about charting a new path toward a more effective mental health solution and self-empowerment solution for men that fits masculine psychology better, with topics such as agency, competence, calmness, emptiness, leadership, and inner authority. I'm going to give you a quick preface. This video, I will be speaking about patterns and incentives, not absolutes and generalizations. So if you're watching this video and you're a man and the content doesn't apply to you, you're an exception, and that's great. The topic isn't aimed for you. And to be clear, I am not anti-therapy. I'm anti-one size fits all. I'm anti-one prescription for everybody. And that's what we're going to attack today. So let's get into it. Men's mental health is not a small problem. In the US, men make up about half of the population, but are experiencing approximately 4 out of 5 suicide deaths. The CDC has reported a significant increase in anxiety and depression within men over the last 7 years. So when we talk about the path forward, we're not talking about feelings or vibes or moods. We're talking about changing outcomes, serious, potentially life-changing outcomes. So here's my view. Many modern men today are being pushed into emotional processing frameworks that weren't necessarily designed with men's mental health in mind. I'm not in any way insinuating that these common psychological and spiritual frameworks are bad or malintentioned, or even that they're not effective, because many of them are. But many of the most common psychological frameworks and spiritual healing modalities emphasize concepts such as verbal processing, emotional excavation, and constant feeling focus as the primary engine of healing, of growth, and of self-inner alignment. And for many women, this approach can be extremely impactful because increased emotional acceptance often results in tremendous relief for women due to the heightened self-awareness and self-acceptance of a woman's motor oil, which is emotions, feelings. But for a lot of men, when the only tool is go deeper into feelings, it can inadvertently turn into many side effects, such as men deepening their emotions to the point where it breeds more emotions and creates emotional chaos instead of release. Where men may get lost in emotions, where it may distort their clarity and objective observation. Men may experience emotional intensity, which may position them into a place of taking action from reactivity instead of intention or directionality. Or men may end up with over-emotionality, losing their steadiness and consistency, stunting any sustainable or consistent growth. If we're being real, a huge reason why modern therapy culture feels the way that it does is simple. For decades, women have been the primary consumers of mental health treatments, and that's shaped the emotional language and the feelings-based processing, the norms and the tools of modern therapy and spiritual healing. Even in more recent US data, women are still substantially more likely to use treatment. In 2019, it was reported about 24.7% of women received some kind of mental health treatment in the previous 12 months, and 13.4% for men. In that same 2019 data, it was reported that counseling and therapy was specifically utilized by 11.7% of women versus 7.2% of men. So when people say that therapy was built around women, the reality is, for decades, since the mid-1900s, the demand for therapy was disproportionately female. And when a field evolves its curriculum based on who shows up most, it tends to optimize for the problems, the communication styles, and the goals of that group that's more likely to participate. So it's not malintentioned, it's just what happened. And I'm no way saying that the emotion-centric therapy or feelings-based modalities are bad. It was just designed for a specific audience, women. and is now being applied to an audience with a different set of problems and a different set of requirements: men. A lot of mainstream therapy tools are incredibly good at helping all humans move from suppression to expression, from being in a state of confusion to being able to name what is actually and precisely going on, from being in shame to being in self-acceptance, from having relationship-based pain to having more relationship insight, and from having trauma responses to being able to self-regulate. These tools apply to all humans, but they map even better to the kinds of pain patterns that women, on average, are more likely to report or seek help for, especially around relational rules, emotional processing, and heart safety. Now, here's the part that matters the most for the men who are watching this and seeking some direction in their mental health journey. A lot of these emotional identification and emotional release techniques are indeed very important for men, as well as to resolve and heal past traumas and suppressed emotions. I actually teach these emotional release processes in many of my coaching programs, and they've proven to be very effective and valuable for men. After all, we're all humans, and at the end of the day, some things that work for women may also work for men on a human level. However, the difference between using emotional identification and release practices between men and women is due to our unique biological design differences. That the importance and the weighting of emotional identification and release techniques is a far larger proportion of the complete mental health picture for women than it is for men. So, in addition to needing to free ourselves from suppressed emotions, from traumas of the past, many men also experience mental health challenges due to other issues, such as their inability to find clarity in their life, to live with purpose, to have inner peace consistently, to speak their truth, to take action aligned with their values, or to initiate leadership and earn respect consistently, to satisfy core masculine needs. Many men actually get stuck in the mental health downward spiral because they don't have enough presence, discipline, agency, structure, courage, competence, or self-trust, things that build a resilient masculine core. So if a man's only framework is to go deeper into his feelings, it can create a trap where he becomes more emotionally flooded and less anchored. And not because emotions are wrong or bad, but because without structure, intention, and purpose, emotions become the steering wheel for his inner experience, a concept which is well aligned to the biological feminine design, but more misaligned with the biological masculine design. So, here's the trap I'm seeing many modern men fall into. They enter a mental health space, whether it's through psychology or spiritual healing, and they unintentionally learn that my emotions are the center of my identity. Or, if I'm upset, I should sit inside of it until it dissolves. Or, if I don't feel safe, I should just float away, hide, and avoid the pressure. Or, if it's hard, it must be trauma, and I should avoid triggering that. I should stay away from it. Or, the one which you hear the most from modern men, what they learn in therapy cultures and spiritual healing cultures is, if I feel it, I must freely express it immediately. And if you're a man who already struggles with direction, with discipline, or with self-trust, these modern healing modalities can initiate a repetitive loop, the same story, the same downward spiral, but with new labels and new stories attached to them. So when you start to collect explanations for what went wrong, instead of building wisdom to make things right, that's when you start to go down that downward spiral. You start turning every discomfort into a narrative and something to be fixed or something to avoid, without accepting that sometimes discomfort is the price of growth. And a lot of men don't elevate their mental health or their self-confidence by expressing what they feel endlessly. This is something I always like to say. Too much identification with emotions breeds more emotions, which breeds chaos. And for many men in this modern culture, I've seen this apply. This is where masculinity matters. So what's the new path? What's the path forward for men to heal their struggles, their mental health challenges, their lack of confidence in a way that hits their masculine core. What is the ideal path towards ideal men's mental health? I'm about to share with you 10 inner qualities for men to develop that will naturally elevate a man's mental health over time and with repetition. The first is masculine presence. You want people to feel your calm, your charisma, and your masculine frame. The second is leadership. It's a masculine quality to set the direction and take action while inspiring others to do the same. The third is sovereignty and authority, being able to govern yourself. The fourth is serving and protecting those who are more vulnerable, using your strengths to help and protect those who may not have those strengths. The fifth is operating with a sense of bold action and courage. The sixth is commanding respect. The seventh is living with a sense of freedom. The eighth is owning your personal power. The ninth is living with competence. And the 10th is trusting your wisdom. When a man has these inner qualities well developed within him and well practiced, he is more likely to be able to take ownership of his core masculine imperatives, such as living with discipline, authority, frame, courage, boundaries, following through on his word, and so on and so forth. And when, as a man, you begin to take ownership of your masculine imperative, your emotional world tends to stabilize with less chaos seeking, fewer shame spirals, more composure and ability to control your impulses, and more confidence and comfort in your own skin. And yes, most men still need some degree of traditional mental and emotional therapy and healing work, definitely at least to begin with. The deep masculine development work is not meant to replace the traditional mental and emotional healing work, which are very important, but to add to them and give men that extra nuance that they need to really connect with their deep masculine core and experience a sense of peace, fulfillment, and higher mental health. Everyone likes to say that women are far more complex than men, but when it comes to mental health, men must attack the mental health equation from many different and what might seem unrelated angles that extend beyond just thoughts and emotions. So, if you are a man who's currently in the mental health rabbit hole, here's my challenge to you. Don't abandon the emotional awareness techniques and the need for the occasional deep emotional release. Continue on with that. You do need to hit the reset button and not suppress your emotions. Just stop making it your religion. As you proceed into your healing journey, your personal development path, I also encourage you as a man to allow emptiness, to allow wisdom, to build agency, to build competence, to build frame, to live with a sense of toughness and resilience. And all of this to develop a stable and high-powered default operating system that I like to call masculinity. So, men, if you learned something from this video and you would like to experience a life-changing transformation, check out the links below to find a Men of Mastery container that might work best for you. If the content in this video resonated with you, make sure to integrate what you learned into your life starting today. Rewatch this video over and over again and make sure you implement it in your daily life. You have no time to waste. Start building yourself and start building your life.